You want to know why you're never thought of and you never become top of mind with anybody? It's because you're not a part of their conversation. You're not even thought of. So be so damn good that they have no choice but to listen to you, but to look for you. That they can't ignore you any longer. The show. And I can't do the sales life without you. And so I need you, man, to put those thumbs to work. Every single day, every single episode, I'm gonna ask it, man, because it's the only way it's gonna get out there. I can do all the episodes I want, have 5,000 episodes. It doesn't matter until you share the show, until you listen to this show and you say, you know what? What is one person who needs to hear this show today? As you listen to this episode, that's what I need you to be thinking and say, you know what? I'm gonna send this link over. I'm gonna share it with somebody either on Facebook, or I'm gonna copy the link from YouTube, or I'm gonna message the link of the podcast to someone and say, I was thinking about you today on this. So I need you to share the show, man. That way we can get the message out there. Also urge them to also subscribe to The Sales Life, to not miss any future episodes, as well as YouTube. And then where you can, leave your comments below. I love them. I appreciate them. They power me, man. And then also rate and review the show. And the ratings and reviews are so important. I know you're busy, but if you could leave a quick star rating, man, on the podcast, it definitely helps. Also a review. So we got one in the past year. And even though we've had thousands and thousands of listens, I know because I'm kind of slow about doing reviews too. So if you would do that, man, to help, it's for me, but it's also for the show. It's way bigger than I am. So rocking out with today's episode. Steve Martin, actor, comedian Steve Martin, man. When he has been asked for advice on how to be successful, he said, when somebody asks him, how can I be successful? He said, be so good that they can't ignore you. And he said, oftentimes people are disappointed when they hear that because they think it's going to be something like grand. And he said, really, they don't want to hear that. Really what they want to know is what's the one thing I can do that's going to help get my script sold, that's going to help me get on stage, that's going to help me become YouTube famous, that's going to help me get the podcast out there, that's going to help me do this one thing and just explode into notoriety. And he said, it's not one thing. He said, I always defend with, be so good they can't ignore you. He said, I defend it by saying that you have to ask yourself, and you have to work every single day. And this is the mantra that he took. It took him 10 years of repetition to finally get noticed. And I think I was listening to something the other day. I think it was 10 years to get noticed, 4 years to practice, to refine it. And I think like 2 years that he was on the super high game, and then he walked away from it. But he said, he always defends it with, you have to ask yourself, and this is how you need to work, how can I be really good? And he said, if you work like that, how can I be really good? People have no choice but to come to you. See, you don't have to go to them. You don't. And you think that you have to go out there and I got to connect to these people and I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. No, you don't have to go to them. If you work with the ethic and the ethos of how can I be really good, your work's going to go to them. And they're going to come to you. And I hear this all the time, man, which is the topic of this episode. Many times when we promote someone or many times when someone has a successful month in sales, there's always the haters. So when there's a promotion, people always think it should have been them. Why didn't you even consider me? How dare you? I've been here this long. It's not the time that you put in. It's what you put into the time. And many times, man, when there is a salesman, sometimes it's a new phenom that comes in. Sometimes it's just, there's golden childs at businesses. And it seems like they always get the favors, man. And I have frustrated salespeople that'll come up to me and they'll talk to me. It's like, man, it's not right. My advice is always the same. You got to make yourself part of the conversation. There's no reason in getting all pissed off, man. Don't even get pissed off about it. Don't worry about it. You got to ask yourself, how can I be really, really good? You want to know why you're never thought of and you never become top of mind with anybody? It's because you're not a part of their conversation. You're not even thought of. So be so damn good that they have no choice but to listen to you, but to look for you, that they can't ignore you any longer. Don't work to get noticed, man. Work to get good. And I'm telling you, they're going to find you. And let me tell you what it's going to take, bro. It's going to take accountability on your part. I remember the first time dude, you have to understand, when I started into the business, I was the golden child. And they said, this is the owner's protege, man. This is his young son. And I knew that. And I took that for granted. And I remember when he called me into his office, there was a spot that was open. And he called me into his office and he said, I'm promoting the guy behind you over you. And he said, I just want to give you a heads up. I was hurt. And I remember I got to the bottom of the stairs when I went downstairs. And I went in and I closed the deal. I went right in. And I walked out of there and I said to myself, you weren't ready. And see, this is when you get passed over for a promotion. You can blame or you can examine. And you'll get a lot further in life if you examine and you say, I'm not ready. Have you exceeded the current position that you're in? And if the answer is no, if you're truly honest with yourself, no, you're not ready. And if I would have gotten promoted at that time, it wouldn't have turned out good. It was actually a blessing because it woke me up. It made me roll up my sleeves and say, you're not the heir to the throne. So when you get passed over, when the favoritism's not coming your way, man, you've got to ask yourself, why am I not part of the conversation? Why are some people just immediately thought of and I'm not? And it's not to get mad at the other person. That other person, some way, somehow, you can add the narrative to it however you want to. Somehow they've made it a point to be top of mind. It's what you do with your customers, right? You don't wait for your customers to remember you. You make sure that you're top of mind. And your service and your work ethic and your accountability is so good that they have no choice. They can't ignore you. They have no choice but to come back to you, at least to consider you first, and sometimes give you the last shot. Sometimes they don't consider anybody at all. They just go right for you. And if this is what you say, then that's good. It's the same thing, man, you got to do in your career. You got to make yourself a part of the conversation and stop working against the man and start molding your career molding your skills and your techniques and your knowledge, all these kind of different, do those things. Working with an ethic every single day of how can I get good? How can I be really good? Now, this is what Cal Newport in his book, So Good They Can't Ignore You, wonderful title. This is what Cal Newport calls a craftsman mindset. And a craftsman mindset it's different than a passion mindset. Cal Newport doesn't believe in the passion project. Follow your passion. He doesn't believe in that. He said it's the craftsman mindset. And the craftsman mindset is where you just roll up your sleeves and you get after it. And you end up just lost for hours, working and working and working and working, figuring out how you can get really good. That's what Steve Martin did. He cut against the grain. Instead of following the footsteps of all these other comedians, he developed his own set. He developed a different way of telling jokes that people thought he was absolutely crazy for doing, yet he did it. And it worked, but it took 10 years. The craftsman mindset is different than the passion mindset. The passion mindset is, what can the world offer me? The craftsman mindset is, what can I offer the world? How good can I make something so meaningful and put it out there where no one can ignore me? So you got to focus on getting better. You focus on getting better. And regardless, this is what Newport writes, regardless what you do for a living, I love this, regardless of what you do for a living, approach your work like a true performer. Regardless of how you feel about your job right now. If you adopt a craftsman mindset, that's going to be the foundation of building a compelling career. See, how often are you playing against the man? How often are you playing against the management? That they got it out for you, that they're not even giving you anything. No one is going to give you a career. You got to earn it. And that means that sometimes it's going to be obstacles. That means sometimes that even when people don't believe in you, you don't need them to. You believe in yourself. And you work every single day with a craftsman mindset. Molding and shaping. And you're working for an opportunity, not for a title. See, most people say, this is my title. Oh, you don't want to give me the promotion? Oh, you don't want to consider me? Well, I ain't doing nothing for you. I'm not going to do it. It's not what a craftsman mindset is. Even when you don't get paid for it, maybe not, but you are getting rewarded. Because when you get tagged for a project, when you go that extra mile, even when it seems like they're conspiring against you, you're just adding another tool to your chest, man. You're putting another tool in your belt. And you get proficient and good with no backlash, no big lipping, no lips at all, just excellent craftsmanship. So even if they ignore you, you got to understand, dude, this ain't your end game, and success is not linear. So if they are ignoring you, even when you put that craftsman mindset, even when you put your best work out there, they may ignore you, but the world's a big place, and someone out there won't ignore you. I have to remind myself with this podcast, with the Sales Life. And many times, and today I had to remind myself, actually, that I got to be so good that you can't ignore me. And yeah, I wish there was more that would see the episodes. I wish there were more that I could bring some meaning into their life, so which is why I need your help. But you won't help me until these episodes are so good that you can't ignore the fact that you've got to share the show. That you have to tell someone about this show. You have to tell someone. This will help you. Trust me. I wake up every day. This is what you need. The ratings and reviews, the subscribers on YouTube, they're not there. The ratings are low. The subscribers are low. So I got to keep coming back with more. Another episode to get good. And if I get good, I'll get better. And best is along the way. So here's your TSL bullets for today. Let's put some bullets in your gun, man. Number one, if this show is for you, get so good they can't ignore you. And if you're being ignored right now, it's because you're not that good. And I'm raising my hand. Me too. If I'm ignored, if the world's not even considering me right now, it's cool. I'll come back with more. How can I get better? That's your first bullet. That's how you need to work. A craftsman mindset. You're a craftsman. You're not working for the man. You're not playing against the man. You're molding your career. Second one is, let me remind you, this game is way bigger than what you think. So why treat the world as if it's a Milton Bradley Monopoly table, man? You know, the board, you know how the old school boards, you unfold them and they're about the size of a card table. Why are you treating your world like that? Like this is it. It's not. So don't treat it as such. The world's not a card table. The world is unlimited. So you got to work in such a way that the world will show up one day and notice. And number three, they're going to talk about you. Right now, they're not talking about you. And then they're going to talk about you. And the fact that you keep coming back, hell or high water, rain, sleet, or snow, you make sure when they talk about you, when they put your name on their lips, you give them something to talk about. Remember, never settle. Keep selling your way through life, no matter what.